Right now, there is a brutal war happening inside your head. Every single day, thousands of negative thoughts flood your consciousness. These thoughts tell you that you are not good enough. They tell you that you are destined to fail. They whisper that you should give up before you even try. This is the cold truth that most people refuse to face. If you do not take control of these thoughts, they will take control of you. They will sabotage your biggest dreams. They will destroy your confidence. They will keep you trapped in a life of mediocrity forever. But today, that cycle ends. You are going to learn how to completely eliminate negative thinking from your mind. This is not about simple positive thinking. This is not about feel-good affirmations. This is mental warfare. This is about taking back the keys to your own mind. This is about reprogramming yourself for success, confidence, and unstoppable action. By the end of this session, you will have a complete system to identify and destroy every negative thought before it can poison your life. You will learn to think differently, act differently, and live differently. But this only works if you are ready to do the hard work. Welcome to Elite Summaries. We are dedicated to providing you with the most powerful insights to master your psychology and achieve your goals. If you are ready to reclaim your mind and build a life of purpose, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell right now. Join our community of high achievers who refuse to settle for less. As you listen to these words, your mind is running a constant stream of commentary. Most people think this inner voice is just part of being human. They think it is normal to have a voice that criticizes every move. But for most people, this voice is not a friend. It is a worst enemy disguised as your own thoughts. Negative thinking is a systematic pattern of self-sabotage. It acts like a virus in your mind. Every time you consider taking a risk, it tells you all the ways you could fail. Every time you set a goal, it reminds you of your past failures. Every time you start to feel confident, it brings up your most embarrassing moments. Think about the last time you wanted to do something big. Maybe it was starting a new business. Maybe it was asking for a promotion. What happened in your head? Did you immediately start thinking about worst-case scenarios? Did you talk yourself out of it before you even started? That is negative thinking in action. It doesn't just affect your mood. It affects your reality. When your mind feeds you reasons why you can't succeed, you start to believe them. And when you believe them, you stop taking action. You stop pursuing opportunities. You stop growing. The cost of this is a life lived far below your potential. Every dream you have abandoned is a victim of this negative voice. Negative thinking is actually addictive. Your brain becomes dependent on it because negativity feels safe. It feels easier to expect failure than to risk being disappointed. It feels more comfortable to stay small than to face the possibility of rejection. This addiction creates a downward spiral. The more you think negatively, the worse you feel. The worse you feel, the less action you take. This cycle gets stronger every single day. Many people accept this as their personality. They think they are just naturally pessimistic. They believe this voice is trying to protect them, but it isn't protecting you from danger. It is protecting you from success.
It is protecting you from growth. This is not protection. It is a prison, and you are the prison guard. Negative thinking serves no useful purpose. It guarantees failure by preventing you from trying. Every successful person has had to wage war against this internal voice.
They didn't win because they were lucky. They won because they learned to control their thoughts instead of being controlled by them. To kill negative thinking, you must understand why it exists. Your brain is following an ancient survival program. This program is working against your modern success. Your brain evolved to keep you alive, not to make you happy or fulfilled. In the ancient world, survival depended on scanning for threats. This is called the negativity bias. Your brain is hardwired to pay more attention to negative information. It remembers failures more vividly than successes. In the ancient world, the person who assumed every rustle in the grass was a predator survived. The optimist often became lunch. But we no longer live in that world. You are not going to die if you start a business and fail. You will not be cast out of the tribe if you speak up in a meeting. Yet your brain still treats every risk as a life or death situation. It floods you with fear to keep you in your comfort zone. This safety is a trap. Your brain is incredibly creative at imagining disasters. It spends almost no energy imagining how good you will feel when you succeed. This imbalance is not an accident. It is an evolutionary default. But in the modern world, the real threats are stagnation and complacency. Your brain is protecting you from imaginary dangers while exposing you to real ones. You cannot trust your thoughts. They are often just an outdated security system keeping you in a cage. There are 4 specific types of mental poison you must identify. The first is catastrophic thinking. This is when your brain jumps to the absolute worst outcome. You don't just think you might fail. You assume you will lose everything and end up homeless. This makes any risk seem unreasonable. The second is all or nothing thinking. This is seeing the world in black and white. You believe you are either perfect or a failure. If you make one mistake, you think the whole project is ruined. And this leads to paralysis because perfection is impossible. The third is victim thinking. This is when your brain convinces you that everything is someone else's fault, and you feel powerless to change your circumstances, and you make excuses based on the economy or your luck. And this feels justified, but it keeps you stuck. The fourth is comparison thinking. This is the obsession with measuring your worth against others, and it makes your progress dependent on someone else's achievements. These patterns often work together to keep you small, and they feel logical, but they are just fear wearing a mask. And they protect you from failure, but they ensure you live a life of regret. To destroy these thoughts, you must understand their anatomy. Every negative thought has a trigger, an emotion, a story, and a conclusion. A trigger is just an event. It is not inherently negative. What matters is how your brain interprets it. For example, seeing a job posting is a trigger. A healthy mind sees opportunity. A negative mind sees a reason to feel unqualified. After the trigger comes the physical emotion. You might feel a tightness in your chest or anxiety in your stomach. Then, your brain creates a story to justify that feeling. This story is usually based on fears rather than facts. Finally, you reach a conclusion. That conclusion is almost always to avoid taking action. This entire process happens in seconds. To break this loop, you need awareness. You must become a detective of your own mind. When you catch a negative thought, you must interrupt it immediately. Use a mental stop sign. Literally tell yourself to stop. This breaks the automatic flow. Then, challenge the thought. Demand evidence for the story your brain is telling. Ask if it is based on facts or just fear. Replace the thought with something more productive. This is not about lying to yourself. It is about choosing a realistic perspective that allows for action. Your brain has the ability to physically rewire itself. This is called neuroplasticity. Every thought you repeat strengthens a specific path in your brain. Negative thoughts are like well-worn highways. Your mind takes them because they are easy. To change, you must build new mental highways. This requires consistent practice. You need to strengthen your awareness muscle through mindfulness. Set awareness triggers throughout your day. Every time you check your phone, ask yourself what you have been thinking about. Practice the 2-minute awareness drill. Set a timer and just observe your thoughts without judging them. Most people realize their minds are far more chaotic than they thought. Next, use cognitive rehearsal. Create a list of your common negative thoughts and write down a productive alternative for each one. Practice these alternative thoughts daily. Imagine yourself acting with confidence and achieving your goals. Your brain pays more attention to thoughts accompanied by strong emotions. So when you practice, don't just think the new thoughts, feel them. Generate excitement and determination. The most powerful way to rewire your brain is through action. Every time you act despite fear, you send a message to your brain that the negative thoughts were wrong. Your brain learns from results, not just intentions. Start with small actions that contradict your limiting beliefs. If you think you aren't confident, force yourself to ask one question in every meeting. If you think you aren't disciplined, commit to one small daily habit. These actions might feel terrifying at first. That is normal. Discomfort is the price of growth. Track your progress obsessively. Celebrate every small victory. Each win is evidence that your brain is changing. Neuroplasticity takes time. You won't eliminate negative thinking overnight, but within 30 to 60 days of consistent practice, you will notice significant changes. The negative thoughts will have less emotional impact. Productive thoughts will start appearing automatically. The taking action will become easier. Advanced mental warfare involves detecting thoughts before they fully form. So watch for the early warning signs in your body. The physical tension like a clenched jaw or tight shoulders is a sign. The sudden shifts in your mood are signs. When your mood drops, trace it back to the thought that caused it. Behavioral changes are also signs. The procrastination and avoidance are often attempts to escape negative thoughts. Once you detect the thought, use advanced elimination techniques. To try thought interrogation,
Treat the negative thought like a hostile witness in court. Demand that it prove itself with evidence. The most negative thoughts cannot withstand intellectual scrutiny. Another technique is thought starvation.
Thoughts are like fires. They need the fuel of attention to stay alive. When a negative thought arises, acknowledge it briefly and then redirect your attention to a task. Don't argue with it, just stop feeding it. You can also use thought labeling. When you notice catastrophic thinking, simply say to yourself, "That is catastrophic thinking." This creates psychological distance. It reminds you that you are the observer, not the victim. Building mental immunity is the next level of mastery. You want to become naturally resistant to negativity. This requires mental strength training. Deliberately expose yourself to small amounts of stress. Take cold showers. Have difficult conversations. This builds psychological muscle memory for real challenges. You should also audit your information diet. What are you consuming every day? If you watch news that focuses on disasters, you are feeding the beast. Replace distractions with active learning. Design your physical space to promote productivity. Control your social environment ruthlessly. Surround yourself with people who take action and solve problems. Limit your time with those who only complain. Develop opinion immunity. Most people's opinions are based on their own fears. Value your own judgment over the expectations of others. Create positive feedback loops by celebrating your mental victories. True mental dominance requires relentless optimism. This is a strategic choice, not a personality trait. It is based on an internal locus of control. This means you believe your actions determine your outcomes. When something goes wrong, don't blame external factors. Ask what you could have done differently. This trains your brain to see opportunities for influence. Use solution-focused thinking. When you encounter an obstacle, give yourself 60 seconds to understand the problem. Then, spend all your time on solutions. Reframe failure as data. A failure is just an experiment that didn't work. It provides information on how to improve your approach. Maintain momentum thinking. Focus on small wins that build forward progress. Practice what-if thinking focused on positive outcomes. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask, "What if this works better than I expected?" This focus leads to more action and better results. Manage your mental energy. Eliminate energy vampires like toxic relationships and unproductive worry. Cultivate energy sources like exercise and learning new skills. Peak performers use specific mental models to interpret reality. The first is the growth framework. They believe abilities are developed through effort. They don't say, "I'm not good at this." They say, "I'm not good at this yet." The second is the ownership framework. They take 100% responsibility for their results. They focus on their sphere of influence in every situation. The third is the systems framework. They focus on daily processes rather than just distant goals. A goal is what you want, but a system is how you get it. The fourth is the leverage framework. They look for tools and relationships that multiply their results. The fifth is long-term thinking. They make decisions based on where they want to be in 10 years. not how they feel right now. The sixth is the abundance framework. They believe success can be created and expanded. They collaborate instead of competing out of fear. Sometimes you need a total mental reset. If you have been stuck in negative patterns for a long time, use the 24-hour protocol. This is a systematic reset to restore your clarity and motivation. Phase 1 is mental purging. Spend 2 hours writing down every worry, fear, and doubt in your mind. Get it all out on paper. Phase 2 is pattern interruption. Disrupt your routine with physical activity like a cold shower or a long run. Phase 3 is evidence gathering. Collect evidence that contradicts your negative thoughts. Review your past achievements and successes. Phase 4 is future visioning. Create a detailed vision of your life in 5 or 10 years. Make it so compelling that it excites you. Phase 5 is system design. Create specific action plans to turn your vision into reality. Phase 6 is commitment and activation. Sign a personal manifesto and take one immediate action toward your goal. This final action proves to your brain that the reset is real. Maintaining this mastery for life requires daily maintenance. Treat your mind like a high-performance machine. Develop non-negotiable mental hygiene practices. Never stop learning and upgrading your psychological skills. Be vigilant about your environment. Periodically, stress test your mental strength by taking on new challenges. Help others develop mental strength to reinforce your own understanding. Regularly detox your mind by clearing out mental clutter. Let your purpose evolve as you grow. Think about the legacy you want to leave behind. This perspective provides motivation that lasts through temporary difficulties. Systematic review and optimization are key. Treat your mind like a business that requires performance analysis. Your transformation will happen in 4 phases. Phase 1 is foundation building. For 30 days, focus on awareness and interruption. Phase 2 is pattern elimination. For the next 30 days, identify and destroy your most destructive thoughts. Phase 3 is positive programming. For another 30 days, install new habits of solution-focused thinking. Phase 4 is mastery integration. Make these skills an automatic part of your life. Consistency is more important than perfection. Now your brain changes through repetition, not occasional effort. Now start immediately. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Now use the tools you have right now. Your mind is your most powerful tool. When you master your thoughts, you master your life. Now you have the choice to stay stuck or to grow. The roadmap is clear. It is time to take action. Thank you for listening to Elite Summaries. Your journey to mental dominance begins today.